Welcome, everybody, to the Jobber Knocker podcast. As always, is Nestlemania. Alongside for the ride is a man who is not allowed in my mansion, however, still breaks in and draws pictures of my family, JC. Welcome.
I'm not a very good artist in Nestlemania, but that doesn't mean I'm not happy today, because today is a happy and joyous day because we're bringing back birthdays with JC. Happy birthday to Happy Corbin today, Nestlemania. I know this was your former favorite segment in Jobber Knocker history, so I figured on this happy, joyous, super happy day, we would bring back hashtag birthdays with JC. So happy birthday to you there, Happy Corbin. You're an absolute stud, and I hope you have some big pieces of meat today.
I got to tell you, if you're not following Happy Corbin on Instagram, when he beats that meat, eats that meat, flies that meat, whatever meat he's doing, I mean, I am so excited to watch him with that meat. It is so, like, the way he does the thing, it's just so good.
The way he beats his meat, you like
the way
that?
he beats his meat, the way he prepares his meat, the way so here's the thing, as a hypochondriac, as somebody that needs to wash their hands constantly, watching him handle his meat with gloves on, perfect. I would love to be with him while he does that.
It just slides all over it, right? Just, you know.
Well, no, because when you're preparing the meat, we're not even talking about wrestling, but when you're preparing the meat, it's good, right? You get a little bit of the spices.
Yeah, a couple pumps on there.
Yeah,
throw on your gloves, and you just start like slapping away.
Yeah, dim the lighting. Make sure you got the right lighting for cooking and all that stuff. You know, it's great. Anyway, we've got a lot of wrestling to talk about, folks. Enough about the beating the meat. I am excited because we have a lot to get to this week, JC. There's a lot of positive and negative, but there's a lot to talk about.
Shoosh, please. Nestlemania. I've always loved Chad Gable. You've known that forever and ever, whether it was in NXT in his tag teams or main roster in his tag teams. Shorty G, which I still wish I was for Halloween because I love that outfit. Chad Gable's an absolute stud. And this week, more than ever, he has really become like what that Dolph Ziggler type role, as I like to call it, has been, where it's just like you send Chad Gable out there and he gets that crowd fucking fired up, rumbling and tumbling. He did it on SmackDown and he did it on Raw. You know why I loved it on SmackDown, because he had that crowd in the palm of his hands and gets lubing them up for the big explosion. We're talking about a lot of lube today. Roar! This segment, it was probably my favorite part of SmackDown. I just like, man, you know I love Braun. You know I love Gable. They've had good stuff in the past, but the Gable comment that got me the best. So he's like, Braun stuck his stupid hands in our business. Just like all the hands puns were so good. And of course, Braun came out and absolutely smash, which we love to see. But, you know, it was great. It's great to see the Alpha Academy all over my TV this week.
I was so surprised that he was there on SmackDown. I mean, I knew they said Braun was going to show up. So clearly when I saw that, I went, okay, they're spoiling it. That's whatever. It's great. He got train wrecked because he's Braun and he does whatever he wants. But on Monday, I was really into the Gable Gargano match. So here's the thing. I appreciated the Theory promo beforehand, being like, I have my hands tied, but I have somebody that will help me. Shoosh, Johnny wrestling. Like, I just love that. Like, you could beat me, you know, like he's just so good at trying to make people hate him with his number one guy, his protege, Otis, who, you know, took a little bit of a barrel spill on Friday.
I love when he kisses him on the head.
He always does like the little afterwards. Like mom, like he just, I love my Otis so much. But the match was great. Johnny wrestling with the big victory, big dub. Of course, our boy TJ, 30 seconds into this program, I have to make fun of him, was probably sitting there going, yay, Johnny Gargano, you know, but good outing for Johnny. You know, could wrestle. We already knew that, but he was wrestling the wrestle style. Like he was really wrestling. He wasn't just pro wrestling. He was like wrestling.
Oh yeah, and Gable's like appetite was what for this. I mean, this guy, he's been a workhorse for them pretty much the whole year, but even more so, it's like, I mean, Vince was rolling him out there every week, but Triple H is doing the same thing. He's like, you know what? I need a good wrestling match. Shush, please. Send in the Hating Chad, and he gets the job done.
I mean, honestly, I don't think he gets enough credit. I mean, we're going to probably say a lot about Gargano, I'm sure, going forward, but I think the utility player that is Chad is great. Like he knows exactly what to do. He took liberties, like he punched him pretty hard.
Mm-hmm.
He did a lot of great stuff that wasn't very much Gable amateur wrestling. And he he went to town on Gargano, and it was a fantastic back and forth. They got a ton of time. So that was a great wrestling match. That might've been one of the best matches of the week, at least in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously we can probably debate what the next one was, even though we were
you know what? This was the best singles match of the week. I absolutely love this match, but Nestlemania, this might be a first time ever in Jobber Knocker history where the JC match of the week this week, it happened on SmackDown, and it was a 6-man tag Imperium. Who they had their music changed up a little bit where it starts with the old theme and then goes into the new theme, which I don't mind that. I like. You give a little nod. But obviously taking on the Brawling Brutes, like I thought this was a regular tag match, but then I saw Gunther and Sheamus involved. I'm like, oh, it is a 6-way. So I love Ludwig. I love Vinci. I love Butch. And I definitely don't get enough credit, Doc. You're absolutely right about that.
Oh, Jesus.
But Nestlemania, you cannot deny that this 6-man tag was super hot fire. And the best part of it to me was that Vinci got the pin in his SmackDown debut.
There is something special about Imperium. There's something special about the Brawling Brutes, but what's really special about this entire thing is the Sheamus factor. Like I knew he was a great heel, like one of the best. Like we talk about in a top 10, he might be number 1 in moveset ever. He just has a very specific moveset. No one duplicates it. It's a Sheamus moveset. Very good 3-dimensional character, obviously paints like, bright colors, but man, did that crowd just eat him up for the hot tag or want him to get in against, I was going to call him Walter, Gunther, and, get in there and beat the crap out of him. It seems like he's the only one, right? Like, it seems like he's the only one that can really take on the massive Gunther, but he can't get the job done. Obviously, Imperium wins. When I watched this, I felt like, are we done? Is this going to continue? Are we going to get some wins from the Brutes? I mean, I think I'm getting to a point here where it's like, I don't mind seeing more of it. I don't want to see 6-man tags all the time. I get why they did it here. I don't know.
What I like about this is I do think they're going to probably do a Gunther Sheamus rematch of some kind because the match was so successful, whether it's at Extreme Rules or on a SmackDown. I bet you they will, just because I feel like people will still eat it up. It's a rerun that wouldn't get old. But what I really love about this, and especially with the Imperium reuniting, is look at all the tag teams they're building, especially on SmackDown, as people for the Usos to potentially face. Because, obviously, they're still going back and forth with the Profits. It's never ending. But it's like they're building the Vikings. You now have Imperium. You also have the Brawling Brutes. You have new tag teams like the Hit Rows of the world who have come back. It's like they're literally building all these new contenders and just making a division that we've always kind of shit on for not being that deep and kind of giving it a lot of depth across the board. Plus, you still already have the Alpha Academy, the New Day's hanging around, Los Lotharios, the male models actually wrestle a little bit now. So there's plenty of tag teams to go around. And me as a big tag team lover, it's exciting to have this because it's something different on the show. It's something that makes sense. And it's just so much fun to see all these teams. And man, when the Imperium and Usos, I don't know if they've ever faced off, if the Usos ever dropped on NXT and faced them. I don't think so. I know they've done a couple times, but I don't think they faced Imperium. But I'm already getting hot thinking about that match, baby. Whoo, because my boys Ludwig and Vinci can go.
No, look, I don't like the 6-man tag idea, but I really do love the tag team division. I think it's great. I do definitely think they need to split the tag belts. They need to split, as we talked about, the tribal cut. So it gets to a point where you're like, okay, all these teams are here. Now what? Right? Like, we're going to get Sammy and KO, right? We're going to get that as a hodgepodge tag team. So that smells like Raw. You know what I mean? You just send them over to Raw and be the Raw tag champs. The Usos are still great. So it's odd to me where we're just kind of in this holding pattern. We're like, have the tag team titles been defended anytime? Like in the
the
last 4 weeks?
last defense might have been against the Profits, I think, but the Usos are on TV every week, so they're that's why I don't have a bigger issue with them, because I kind of like always wanted to see the idea of like there being one set of tag belts and the teams kind of going to both, and like yeah, sure, maybe they should defend them in the short term, but I feel like long term, like they've been taking those things everywhere. They've been on both shows. They've been defending them. They not only have been defending those tag titles though, they also have to fucking defend their cousin's name when he's not there, when he's out there cucking. So like they're carrying more than just the tag belts, and that's why to me it's like the Usos deserve so much credit, and why I will never refer to them as cucks with holding all the gold, because I think they've done what you're supposed to do. They've gone on both shows. They've traveled. They've missed so few shows at this point that I think it's been a very successful reign, and that's why for me, like I don't really like. I'm not rushing for their reign to end, because I think like they are. When you look at the tag teams in WWE, they really do still feel like the alpha. But it is finally getting to a point now where it's like, okay, I'm finally seeing more teams that like. Could the Profits take it off them? Absolutely, I know that. We know New Day's capable. They're kind of cool right now. Viking Raiders, I don't know, but a team like Imperium's exciting. Obviously, we know the KO Sammy's what we're hoping and dreaming for. But it's just nice that we have options. So I don't put the Usos in the same category of Roman in terms of cucks. That's my way, but I do want them to split them down the line. But I think in the short term, hell, even if we wait till like the new year, I don't mind that at all with them, because they've done what they had to do, and there's so much interesting around them with Solo now and with Sammy and this and that. It's like there's a lot going on, so they're still a very good part of the show every time they're on.
Let me ask you this very quickly. Gun to your head. Top 3 tag teams you want to see become tag champions after the Usos. Go.
Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, Imperium, and the Street Profits.
Why the Street Profits? I feel like that's the one that I don't care about.
They're so fucking good. I think the reason why I don't care about it is you're probably fatigued by it, because that's all we've seen. But like when I look at the tag teams of WWE, man, the Street Profits are so fucking good. And whenever they're on my TV, they're fucking electric. People try to split them up, and they even get better as a tag team with the more this talk, because not only is Montez raising his game under the pressure, Dawkins is raising his game tenfold under the pressure, and they're already so good. I haven't seen them have a bad match with anyone, so they have to be on my list. But the reason why they're not 1 or 2 is because we have seen so much of them.
Sure.
But for me, it's like on the short list, like they have to be on it.
Okay, that's fair. I agree with everything but the Street Profits.
Who would be a third?
I would honestly, I think the Viking Raiders need it. I think the Viking Raiders need.
They gotta do something though, because do you care when they're on TV?
No, but I'm just saying,
great, but like I don't give a fuck about.
No, but here's the thing: like I'm so just very much trying to think outside of the box of like who the tag teams are brand new that or not brand new, but they have a fresh coat of paint, I guess. But I'm sitting there thinking to myself, okay, like the Viking Raiders haven't really lost very much, so I'm thinking to myself that's where the build is, right? But who the hell knows? Who the hell knows?
You know what's another tag team that could be interesting, and they have some options there, is I'm going to flip over to Raw. It's Nestle. It's the Judgment Day. The Judgment Day are like half a Raw at this point. They have been. I know like that Dom promo has led to some incredible memes, but it's like, I just like they're trying. He's obviously like, he needs a lot of work in terms of promo and everything. Like he's not there, but I do love the aesthetics of that and how they were doing it, where it was like kind of the floating head. And then Rhea's face kind of pops in. The look of him with Rhea just like behind him, always lurking, like kind of like puppeteering, pulling the strings. It's fascinating. And it's interesting. It's something so different. And it's absolutely something Dom needs. But I do like that the message that they're giving of him being like, I just kind of followed you around, Dad. You never really listened to me, blah, blah, blah. And I kind of like that Ray, even though his son's turned on him, like he's still trying to defend him, trying to stop Edge. And they obviously, it looks like they probably wrote off Edge off TV for a little bit. So we probably won't see him probably till Survivor Series, when I'm expecting maybe a 5-person Judgment team versus team like Super Team, which we're looking right now. It's probably Ray, Edge, and Riddle, and they'll probably add 2 more there. But I don't know, Nestle, something about it. I love heel Finn Balor, so I've been digging that. So there's a lot of things about this that aren't perfect and that like need work, and they are definitely like very overexposed. So there's more opportunity for them to kind of falter. But I think overall, like I'm still very intrigued, because this Dom factor, to man, it just like it's so interesting, because I've been waiting to see if this kid had more depth than just like booyaka booyaka, follow daddy.
I was ready to just burst because there was so much Judgment Day on my television throughout the entire night. Like I'm sorry, I can't go any longer without doing this. I mean, it was uncomfortable, but he was like flaring his nostrils and being like, he might as well have been in the back of a closet peeping in and looking in someone. It was just, he was doing this weird thing where it was just like he was breathing heavy like a pug. I agree 100%. Dom does not have better hair than me, by the way.
I don't know, man. So
fantastic.
that mullet's pretty sweet.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, I'm growing my hair out for a family picture because she wants me to go get a haircut. But look at this. Ready? Look at this mane. All right, it's getting there, right? But look at the back. The back could be almost mullety. So it's getting there.
If you shave the sides after you do the picture, if you shave the sides and have like a Dom cut, that'd be great. That'd be a great visual for the podcast.
Here's the thing. I love my family too much to put them through that terrible haircut. Here's
what you do. Here's what you do. So you do the photo and then you kind of like shave the sides yourself on a Tuesday morning. You come in, you do the podcast, and you just have a haircut Wednesday morning. So 24 hours.
You just think I randomly have time to just get a haircut? Like, come on.
I mean,
come on.
You just pick a little bit of time, you know?
Hashtag pug nestle. Thanks, Doc. Thanks, Doc, you jerk. Pug nestle. I have a cute face. Pugs are cute too, by the way. Just FYI. But anyway, there's a lot of Dom here. That package with the breathing very heavy, it was weird. I appreciated it. It was, whatever. It is what it is. But after that, it was like Dom not talking. Rhea says Poppy knows best. I love that portion of it. The match upset me. And here's why.
Which one?
The ending.
Dom Edge?
The Dom Edge.
It's a Raw main event. What do you say?
I know. It's a DQ. It's a DQ. I get it. It's a DQ. However, why couldn't we have, just go with me on this. Why couldn't we have Rey Mysterio interject himself and somehow struggle with Edge and cost Edge?
Dom win
by his father's help, because then you get the heat on Dom, but you also got heat because now it's Edge and Rey being like, what the fuck? And Judgment Day looks like studs because now there's infighting with Edge and Mysterio, and Dom finally picks up a victory. I don't even know what his last singles victory was.
I was gonna say, because when is the last time you've seen Edge lose? Because I feel like it's kind of one of those things they're kind of saving it. So when it does happen, it's a big deal. Because even at Clash in the Castle, like they won, like it just then the Dom stuff happened after. And like here I think it was kind of like to let Edge win by DQ and then let the Judgment Day stand tall and write him off. So it feels like they're saving it for something. Because literally, I agree with you. I would have loved to see Dom pin Edge. I think it would have been a cool visual. But I can't remember the last time Edge actually lost.
I think honestly, the last time he lost, I'm trying to think of everybody he's wrestled. It has to be before the Royal Rumble, because I can't even remember what he did.
I honestly I can't remember. I'm trying to go through my head quickly, and I can't remember.
If you go to the Internet Wrestling database, I can't do it right now.
Because he beat Priest, right?
Yeah, he beat Priest.
He's beaten Finn when he's faced
Styles. He beat AJ Styles. Right, that was before. That was the Judgment Day beginning.
Yeah, so
he beat Miz and Maurice in that great mixed tag match. So before that, it was like he just doesn't lose.
Yeah, and I don't mind that, because I think it kind of builds it up, but it's just like, I think this would have been a cool spot, but it makes me feel like that down the line, there's going to be a big moment where he does lay down for someone.
He needs to lay down for somebody soon.
He will. I don't know if it's soon. I don't think we're going to see him anytime soon. I think it won't be till November. It's one of those things. I just part-time. They write him off. He comes back for Survivor Series to a fucking big pop, so.
On his day. But it's hard because here's the thing. If you keep racking up wins, theoretically, right? You keep racking up wins, you should be going after a championship in theory.
Okay, so how about this? Because I think it's one of those things. I always look at the Royal Rumble as a good place where you have a good feud, but the champion wins. And this way, like, Edge doesn't have to be in the Rumble. Maybe you do Roman Edge at the Rumble. You let them have his match. You give him a tease the moment, but he wins. And then this is just like, I know Roman's already notched him in the belt, but I don't think he has in singles because it was a triple threat with D-Bry. So
he had one at Money in the Bank, I believe.
Was it a singles?
Yes,
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things, like, if you feel like you have to, I think the Royal Rumble could be a good spot. Because we're looking at it, it's like, Roman isn't defending Extreme Rules, so maybe he defends that Survivor Series if he isn't part of a Bloodline tag match. If not, you're looking at maybe day one, Royal Rumble, and then WrestleMania probably. So
I'm fatigued by all of it. I think that's kind of the issue.
I still think it'll be Roman Seth at Royal Rumble, but we'll see.
Okay, well, that's fair. That's fair. I'm looking through the Internet Wrestling database. He legitimately, I don't think, has lost
since Roman.
Like I'm looking. The last loss he has is on a Friday night SmackDown at Madison Square Garden with Seth Rollins last year.
I remember
almost to the date.
Okay.
almost to the date. He's been undefeated for a year, essentially. So there you go. There you go. But here's my issue with that, right? Like, are we going to get something, or is he just going to win?
No, he will. I mean, we know he has less than a year left. So it's like you expect most of the time he's around, they're going to want to make the crowd happy. But there is going to be a moment where he takes a big one.
Okay, I will take your word for it. Yeah. I trust your judgment.
And I hope it's Dom, honestly, because of the way the storyline works. Like, it'd be great, So we'll see.
Well, we'll see if Dom gets a big dub. I don't know. Here's the thing. I'm interested in where we go with Dom. He wore the t-shirt, so now my theory is wrong. I thought it was an inside job. Clearly, I'm wrong about that. But the pug visual of him like breathing heavy, I hope that's a thing they continue to play up. I have feelings that Dom won't be able to do much more. Like he is what he is.
Well, it's one of those things like the kid's like what, 20,
24, 25.
Yeah, he's a fucking baby. So he's not going to get worse. He's just going to get better. So even if like you think he stinks now, like he's only going to get better, and finally putting him in this new role, like it gives him more of a chance to show growth, because he's pretty much been doing the same thing since he's been around, and like but following his dad around is great because not only it protects him on one side, but it also holds him back a little. This is the first time where it feels like he can kind of spread his own wings and be his own thing. So it's a great opportunity for him to grow and a great time for him to fail and learn from it. Because that's part of it with all young people, and no matter what you're doing with this wrestling or anything else, like you have to fail a few times so you can figure it out. So he's finally gonna get that chance, because I feel like he has been very coddled the last couple of years.
Oh, coddled is exactly how he was brought into this business. But the other thing I want to say very quickly was you made a great point about him kind of like doing all this stuff. But let me ask you, from a visual standpoint, from a storytelling standpoint, JC, do you feel like a lot of it on Monday was just like, blah, it was just like so much, like they could have like spaced it out a little bit
well
more?
like I said, like they dominated the show. Like it's one of those things. It's like that is like I understand it, because this felt like a big like page, like it was like the big thing, or like Dom's turn. This was the first week where it really was like a focus, and it was the match with Edge, but you also wanted like Finn and Priest to be able to do these things, and you kind of laid some groundwork with Riddle. So yeah, you're going to see this if you have a big faction like this, especially that's in the men's, the women's, and the tag division. Like, they're going to dominate a show in a way if you get everyone on. But I do think, like, yeah, you do have to be careful, because in Raw all the time, we get the overexposed thing. It's usually with the champion. We don't have one right now. So that is the fear. But I think with Edge now written off TV, like, it's one less big thing that they have to focus on. So I think it'll be like a little more, not as in our face, but I thought this was a big tentpole week for them.
So here's a very quick thing. Our boy, the doc, says he doesn't think Dom has it. Now, JC is going to defend that by saying some people don't need to have it. They just play role players. I would assume that's what you're going to say.
No, because I think that just given what he is, I think he could. I just don't think because I think we've seen pieces of it in terms of his ability. The character, though, is where he's way behind. And I think part of it is that he's never getting a chance. Like we talk about all the time, Nestlemania, especially like, how many people start their careers at baby faces and people think they're lame? And then the minute they turn here, you're like, holy shit, this person has range. It happens all the time. So now finally it's his time to experiment. We'll see how he does with it. He has a chance to finally be something different. And that's what's interesting to me, because I'm not going to look at a 24-year-old, especially in wrestling, where we look at like the median age of a lot of these guys are like mid-30s. He's over a decade away from that, which means he has over a decade before he could be like at the focal point of where a lot of people are in these careers. So it's hard for me to just do it. But I mean, it's, you know what? He has a tougher road than most people because his name is Mysterio. So he's always going to be compared to Daddy. He's one of the most beloved people ever. So we'll see.
I just don't think Big Papa Pug can be a successful.
I mean, but look at a pug. Pugs look like heels. So
I love it. I love it.
Holla if you bark me.
I fucking love that. So here's the other thing too, very quickly. It's odd to me that they spent this much time on a DQ. Like, it was like 7 segments, right? And then a DQ finish, which again, Ray and Balor, or was it? No, it wasn't Ray. It was Riddle and Balor.
They always have banners. Yeah.
That was awesome. Like, they came out like, so we're bearing the lead here. Seth Rollins comes out doing his, I need to get that purple jacket and the pants. And no shirt,
Lashley thought it sucked. That would
Lashley has fashion
with
sense.
his glasses. I love Lashley. He's the man.
Dude, if I was Seth Rollins, I'd be like, do you even need those glasses? But that's beside the point. He doesn't need them either. But they did that whole thing where it's like Riddle's done. I mean, Rollins is done with Riddle. Riddle's not done with Rollins. They brawl. He runs away. Here comes the Judgment Day. Hey, we want to recruit you. Doesn't happen. We have this fantastic match. Obviously, I was shocked that Finn Balor actually won a match. It seems
When's
like
that? But here's the other thing, other side of the coin. When's the last time Riddle won a match? I don't think he's won a match since he lost to Roman. Like I think they're breaking him down right now as part of it. And like, here's the thing. This is why I think this is really good. Like Seth doing his own thing next week with Lashley. Obviously, Riddle's probably gonna get involved, but like we're probably getting a Riddle Rollins rematch at Extreme Rules with some sort of stipulation. So for this not to get stale, you kind of got to dabble things in other places. So you dabble Riddle in the Judgment Day so he can play with like Finn and Priest or possibly Dom and Rhea, while you dabble Seth in a title picture and you get people all boned up and you give us a Seth Bobby match, which will be exciting. So they're doing a good job here, I think, of just like, because we talk about this all the time in WWE. How often if it's like, okay, it's this person and this person, it's going to be 3 months with nothing but interacting with that person. That shit gets so old. So by doing this, it's like you're kind of like, you're not fully breaking them apart because they're going to be connected till it's concluded, but you're kind of spacing them out and creating more branches. So it's just more interest level.
Sure. And I will go back to what you said. The only thing he's won on television, by the way, Riddle had won that Battle Royal in June. So there you go. That's the last time he's had a victory on television.
What did that Battle Royal get him?
I think he got a shot at either Roman's championship.
Oh, okay, so that was the lead-in. So he hasn't won since he lost to Roman. Okay,
yeah,
that's what I thought. That Money in the Bank, because that was his. Because remember,
he had beaten Ciampa in June, previously. So, yeah. Something had happened there. But other than that, like that's what it says here. I think
they're definitely breaking him down until Randy comes back.
So that's fine. I really enjoyed the match. Again, Judgment Day to me seems like the Job Squad for a while. Now we're getting like an actual, like they're dominating the show. No pun intended with the Dom thing, but I'm curious to see where it goes. I'm curious to see if there's like a love interest with Rhea Ripley or if there's like a cucking involved or anything, like something weird and new agey. I guess in the way that I could say that Poppy knows. So anyway, anything else you want to talk about that's very special to you in the Shine?
I mean, we got to talk about KO. I mean, this guy every week he's in the Shine because he's an absolute stud. Since Triple H has come back, they're just like, he's like, you know what, Kev? I'm going to do what made you fucking a fan favorite in the first place. We're going to fucking just do that. And him and Theory are like the perfect match because Theory's one of those things like KO's trying to give this kid advice because, KO's seen a lot. He's an established veteran, guy who's been successful, who's done the things Theory wants to do. But the best part about Theory is he plays that spoiled brat, fucking giving everything kid, where it's like KO's having this passionate speech, and Theory just goes like, you're fat and ugly. I'm sexy. All these people suck. I'm the man. It's not getting through his skull. It's just like, it's why there's such a good dynamic. And like Theory just like, I mean, want to talk about having it. I think the kid has it. He's an absolute stud. I really want him to be successful when he cashes in because I think it'll be a cool moment. It'll make people so fucking mad no matter who he does it on and when he does it. So it's just like, he's interested. And him and KO next week are probably going to have a burner because, they both can go there. I think they wrestled it recently as well, and it was pretty good. So, I mean, this segment was great. Like KO, we know he's a master on the mic, man, and he proves it every week.
It was a very passionate speech. I loved it. The only problem I had with it was we've kind of already seen them fight. So I'm confused on where Theory is going, right? Like if KO's is feud, that's fine. Is it for the briefcase? Is it not for the briefcase? He was kind of making
people need to get that shit out of his head, man.
Okay, but
they're like, Theory's going to put the briefcase on the line. Why would he fucking do that? It's dumb.
I know. I tend to agree with you. I'm just saying KO is a great feud, but the passionate speech to me was like, okay, great. That was awesome. And then they started brawling for some odd reason. It was like, okay, it was a segment, but then they kept throwing out Johnny Gargano's name. So it's like,
yeah, because Theory's feuding with Gargano. He's feuding with Gargano. Now, well, here's the thing about Theory, Nestlemania. What have we talked about? This motherfucker's had like 6 feuds at once since he won the briefcase. Like he was feuding with like 5 different people. Like that's just what he does. No one fucking likes him. He's a spoiled brat. He acts like a little bitch. He pisses everyone off. So as far as I'm concerned, everyone on the roster is feuding with Theory. His main one, yeah, I think him and Gargano are probably gonna have the big payoff. But in the short term, it's like KO's just kind of out there waiting for Roman to stop being a cuck so he can take him on again. So in the short term, it's like, you know what? This fucking kid's running his mouth. I'm going to beat him up because here's the thing. We talked about it. Theory can lose every match that cashes in. Doesn't matter. Where KO needs some nice wins, so it works out nicely. KO beats Theory. Theory goes on to Gargano. Maybe KO sees Roman when he comes back at Survivor Series. Who knows?
Do you want anybody besides Cody to derail Roman Reigns? Because if KO's the guy, does that make it less special?
Cody's 1, KO's 2. For me.
Really? Okay. I did not expect that from you. I thought that it's Cody or bust for you. So
No.
okay, no, that's fine. I want to see Theory beat him, honestly, because I think
I want Theory to ruin the moment of whoever beats Roman.
okay,
So,
that's fair. That's fair.
so I guess like we kind of, in a way, like we want it to happen at the same time. But
I just think that there's like, if the fact that if Roman Reigns has a shirt that says "Acknowledge Daddy," you know what I mean, and they made a joke about his daddy being gone, I would like to see, after him cashing in and being like, "Who's the daddy now?" Like I could see his face doing that with his head bob and the whole stupid fucking thing. It's just like there's something about him. It's just like, God damn it, that punchable face. He better fucking win everything. He's so great. I love it. Speaking of which, want to from one punchable face to another. The Miz has a segment in his mansion. I think he calls it Ms. Maurice
Manor Marmiz.
Manor Marmiz. That's
Manor
hard to say.
Marmiz.
Manor Marmiz.
Yeah, it's Maurice and Miz. It's pretty simple to say.
It's a little too much French for me.
It's not French at all.
Manor. Yeah.
Manor? You don't know what a manor is?
No, I know what manor is.
It's Manor Marmiz.
Anyway,
it's not Monsoir, Marseille, Mamé.
Anyway, moving on. So he cuts this promo where they don't talk about that guy. You see him leave, and then of course you kind of see him outside for a split second. Gets in his car, drives away, and then there's Dexter looming in the room with his little drawing of the Miz family. All I can think about was, God damn, is this going to be fun? Like I just love the idea of watching the Miz crumble. I don't know what it is. He's a great actor in terms of like the wrestling realm, not necessarily an Academy Award winner.
He's a great actor. You can just
he's great. But I will say, and by the way, Bertsky, come on, Nestle, watch Miz.
They put Manor Marmiz on the screen every fucking time they go to their house.
I don't pay attention to things. I miss entrances. I would probably fast forward montages in reality shows. You know what I mean? So give me a break. But anyway, yes, I am excited to see where this goes with Dexter Lumis. I feel like there's going to be some like Stockholm syndrome where they become some weird tag team together. I don't think they're going to let Dexter Lumis kidnap a kid. That seems stupid, even though they made a joke of it in commentary. Very odd, Cody.
He should kidnap Mrs. Dad and Maurice's mom.
Nobody will miss Mrs. Dad.
No, but it'd just be funny because he'd act like such an idiot while he's in the segment.
Yeah, because you can see Mrs. Dad doing this.
Even Dexter will be like, "Oh fuck, this guy's more fucked up than me."
You know what, Doc? My wrestling take stinks. Listen, you know what stinks is you. You stink at everything you do in life, sir. You big cartoon. You just look like a cartoon to me. You yabba dabba bitch. Look.
Yabba dabba bitch.
Wow. Yeah, he's like Fred Flintstone.
I was gonna say he's a Flintstone.
Yeah, you see him walk around. He's like an ogre. It's fine.
Wow.
Yeah.
You hear that,
He's going to come on my program, start with me. I'm going to start shit with you. That's how it's going to go.
Oh, Lord.
Anyway, switching gears, anything else?
In the Shine, no.
Okay. All right. That's fine. By the way,
do you have anything?
No. We're going to get into the heat, baby. That's where we're going. Psh, get him off my TV. Get him off my TV. Get him off my TV. There's a lot to talk about, JC. There's a lot to talk about here.
Where would you like to start?
Well, I guess I could go to SmackDown. There was an eight-man tag, so go fuck yourself, with the boys and Hit Row and Profits. It was a thing. I know the only reason you were watching was for Maxine. We get that. That's a JC woman.
So fucking hot.
When
she wears like the white outfits, I'm just like, oh my God.
Every time she comes on the screen, I think of you.
It's one of those things. Like it's one of those things where like I'm enjoying it. I'm like, oh yeah, Heroes doing their thing. And they show just Maxine, and I'm just like,
it's a Danhausen like trance when you watch her. It's ridiculous.
It's amazing. Like no wonder the Von Wagon is dead.
The Von Wagon is not dead. By the way, you can vote for Von Wagner if we want to talk about that later tonight when he takes on and beats Carmelo Hayes, which is not going to happen.
No, it's going to be Wesley.
Hold on. If it's Von Wagner,
then we know the voting's rigged because no one besides you votes for Von Wagner.
I could be hitting that enter button.
Maybe Joe Gacy gets a vote from a couple people he's like hypnotized.
I'm gonna hit that button 150,000 times so he beats him because there's so many marks out there that are gonna end up loving the idea of Wesley versus Carmelo Hayes.
Maybe your boy Robert Stone's paying people to vote.
Oh my God, I hate. I get rid of Stone. Just give me the wagon. Just fucking give me the wagon.
No, he needs a manager, and unfortunately, his hot manager.
He needed Maxine. He needed Maxine.
Yeah, and she's like, she went to model. She went to go model. Good for her. And good luck.
For her. But here's
so funny.
Here's the thing. I don't want to. It's not the same category, but there's like an adjacent category to Braun Strowman when I watch Wagner, where I just go like,
you did not just compare.
Hold on, I just said adjacent
to the
I just said
big man of all time.
I just said adjacent. It's a similar thing where you watch him and you just kind of want to laugh. Like Braun makes you laugh. He's just this big blah, you know what I mean? Like when I watch the wagon, I'm just thinking to myself, this is great. This is fucking great. But anyway, I am curious. In a backstage exclusive, JC, your boy Max Dupree said we have to go through the day to become night. So how do you feel about this? Where do you think they're really going? Were they just saying it to pop a little bit of the YouTube views?
No, he's going to be LA Knight. It's just, here's the thing. Like what we've learned, like the Triple H era, is that eventually he's going to give you what you want. It's probably, they're going to make it part of the storyline, which is good. But the whole reason of having, even though Vince was the one who made this decision, the whole reason of bringing in Maxine was for her eventually to be the only one in charge, so that Max could go off and do his own thing. Like whether it was for different reasons before, it's one of those things. It's like, I really like the Max Dupree character, so I like that they're kind of milking it a little bit before they break it up. I like that Lotharios are involved, but it just, he's going to be LA Knight again. It makes a lot of sense. And when he does, the crowd's going to pop, and short term, it's going to be great. We'll see what it does long term. I think he has staying power for sure, but we'll see. But I think they're definitely going in that direction.
I just don't know if leaving the maximum male models with Maxine is going to last, because I was really, when it first happened, I was really into it, and I'm glad they're wrestling. I'm glad they're taking some L's. That's great. It doesn't matter. But I here's the thing. I didn't add them in the tag team conversation because obviously they just
because they're on the bottom. They haven't won anything yet.
They're bottoms, but that's okay. The other thing that I would say is, like I said, I want to see them win a championship if they're going to stay together. Like I think that's important, because here's the difference. You can have great tag team wrestling. We know that exists, but when you can have a tag team that also does programs and also doing great promo work, that to me is what I want. And I have a sneaky suspicion it's not going to be a long reign, but I would really like to book a Maximum Male Models tag team title reign, until we get to like the next big tag team. Obviously they're not going to take off the Usos, but I'm thinking like 6 months, a year, 2 years down the line, if they're still around as a tag team. Because what else are they going to do by themselves?
The titles are going to have to be split for that to happen.
I know.
They ain't no undisputed champions.
No, I understand that. But when I'm looking at this, like this hot garbage of certain things, it's just like, it was so cool. And then Hit Row came in and it was just like, wow, we don't care as much because Hit Row's whatever. Honestly, I think the Hit Row experiment has passed.
Well, you're a hipster. They're going to be fine. They're going to
I know they're going to be fine. But they're not where they were in NXT.
Well, no, of course they were like literally when they came up to SmackDown. If they would have ran with it, they were the hottest thing in wrestling at the time. In NXT, they're the hottest thing. When they got called up, they would have been. But you do that with anything now. So you can't have something that's so new hot, fucking sweep it under the rug for a year and then bring it back and expect. It's just like there's no chance that it could be where it was.
But Genius is not going to happen.
Stop thinking it's going to be like that, because that'd be fucking.
They're not going to be anything special. They're just not going to be anything special.
You talk about that like they have about an infinity% more chance of being tag team champions than the Maximum Male Models.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I won't be enjoying it whatsoever.
Because you don't enjoy a lot of things, so that's not saying much.
I'm just saying I won't enjoy it. I think it's a waste of time, personally. I think
it's not a waste of time. They bring something unique that WWE doesn't have on the main roster, so that's why.
Not for me. Not for me.
Yeah, you don't like that type of thing because you're nestled.
What were you going to say? What were you really
lame? I was going to say you're lame.
There you go.
You don't like things that are cool. That's okay.
There you go.
It's okay to be lame.
Anyway, speaking of lame, we're going to go over to Raw real quick. I had no interest in Sonya Deville versus Belair's open challenge. It was a wonky whole match.
Yeah, they gave him a lot of time.
Gave it way too much time. Obviously, we needed some tomato can to, have Bianca Belair win. And then, of course, Bayley comes out and cuts a promo, which, again, I love Bayley. Everything about Bayley, fantastic. But it's just bizarre. Like, when she's out there talking, it's as if she gets no reaction. It's very odd to me.
I think our boy Guthrie, I'm actually going to say something positive about him. He put out a tweet where it's like, I can't tell if damage control is everyone's favorite thing or if nobody actually cares about it. Mm-hmm. And I think like that's like, it means so much. Cause like we say it every week. Like, I love all three of these women. I think they're all amazing. But like, what haven't we talked about yet, Nestle, to this point in the program? They won the fucking tag titles last night.
Who
And we haven't
cares,
even
right?
mentioned it because it's one of those things. Like I mean, I spelled it out for you the week of why they weren't going to do it, because they didn't want people to be mad that Sasha and Naomi didn't show up in Cardiff. So that's why I think they kind of did this. Like, you know what? We'll give it to Aaliyah, Raquel for a couple weeks. Let Raquel and Aaliyah do their thing, and then we're just going to put it on where we're going to put it anyway. So it just, I don't know, but it's like, I don't know. It just, now since they have a name, it might have made them even lamer. Like, Damage Control, what the fuck we talking about?
I mean, what is, so here's the thing. Damage Control to me would imply that you're trying to like fix something, right? But the narrative of Damage Control is that they're going to fix the division by becoming champions. I get that in theory, but they don't do a good enough job running down the people that are having championships or the people that are in control. Like, I feel like there's just a weird disconnect with Damage Control where it's just like, this in theory should be really cool. It could be like a ladies, NWO if you did it correctly, but they're just not taking over the show. They're not doing anything that makes me like, when Bayley came out, I was like, she did this last week. Like it didn't add to it. It was just like they were putting it off a week to make sense of something. And it was just like, oh, we've got 4 weeks to Extreme Rules, so Bianca may or may not beat her. It seems odd. It just seems odd, the whole placement of it. I'm not a fan of it. I think Bayley can do better. I think Bianca's doing great, but she's in this weird vortex of like, what do you do with her next?
She needs challengers, and like Bayley at least is a legit challenger. Because I'm looking at the Raw women's roster in particular. Like it's Bayley and Rhea Ripley are the two big ones for me on her list. Because obviously we know Rhea won the contendership and never got it, but it just it's definitely. I mean, Bianca's great. Whenever she comes out, I'm paying attention. She's whipping her hair. Her music's awesome. She's just so likable. But I think for me, like the Damage Control, like as a group, they're just like, I like Bayley, and she's like a good heel. But I don't think it's like one of those things where it's like, I'm not always like mad at her. Dakota Kai, like she plays that crazy character so well, but then when they put her in the tag team with Wendy, it made her so likable again. So I'm having trouble like seeing her as a mean girl, because like, I love Dakota Kai. She's adorable with the pink hair. And then Io's just such a badass and so good in the ring that it's just like, I don't see her as like a beat 'em up rough and tough person. So I think when I'm looking at them as like, they're supposed to be these big, like rah, 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 we're going to beat everyone up. It's like, well, I don't really buy that. I think you're all really, really talented, but I don't buy you as like these monsters coming in and cleaning everyone out.
Your boy Bertsky says, I don't think the WWE fans care for women's tag teams in general and haven't had a serious champion in a long, long time.
You're saying Sasha and Naomi weren't serious champions? That was the hottest the division's been since.
He said, go simp Sasha on your own time, Bert. Ooh, internal chat.
I mean, literally, when Sasha and Naomi walked out, they pretty much walked out with the titles because WWE did that embarrassing promo with Michael Cole. And then they didn't talk. They said they're going to have a tournament. They didn't do it for like 4 months. So yeah, they've definitely cooled it off, because then we didn't suddenly have any tag teams. And at least they're trying to build a division. Like at least Doudrop and Nikki ASH, like they're still teasing something there in the background. Nikki's probably gonna take off the mask. Raquel and Aaliyah have at least proven like they can be a tag team. At some point, maybe Mel and Zelina come back. We've seen Toxic Attraction dabble up on the main roster. We know NXT actually has women's tag teams. So now that you have like a team in place as champions and more solidified, now you can start building out the division. But yeah, of course, it's like, it's been so weird because it's just been in such a weird place since Sasha and Naomi were so good. Do you remember every week we'd come on here and be like, oh, they were on Raw, they were on SmackDown, they're interacting with all these people. It's like they're bringing those titles everywhere. Like this is the first time since like it was Sasha and Bayley and the Kabuki Warriors that these things felt like they mattered and they were doing such a good job. And then it just was kind of like boom, just like cut off instantly. But I don't know, man.
Bertsky says Sasha and Naomi were the most talented champs, but I still don't think that they made people care about the belts because they have zero legit competition. Well, look, I don't disagree with you, Bertsky, but here's the issue is, like JC said, you have to build up the actual competition. You have to build up everything. They didn't do a great job doing it. They really didn't spend a lot of time with it. I think Triple H, given time, will then
we know they have enough women on the roster.
Yeah, they'll backload.
They only use so many in singles, so it's like it makes sense to flush out a nice tag division. I think they'll get there.
I think here's the issue that I have, and it's across the board, right? Real tag teams to me have the same gear. Real tag teams have they come out together. I don't like the 2 separate entrants. That's stupid. If you're a tag team, you come out with 1 entrance. You have to start to have a mentality. You do move sets together. That's when you build a tag team. Like, spend the time making a tag team repertoire in the ring, and then we'll start to get to that point. But I think, to Bert's credit, what he's trying to say is like, sometimes they miss completely off the target, like they did. But then sometimes you get lucky with a Sasha and Naomi, a Sasha and Bailey, a Kabuki Warriors. I can't even talk. Kabuki Warriors. All these ones that worked.
You don't get lucky with those. Those are just that talent makes it
But
happen.
I mean, like, what I mean is they put the time and effort in to putting in it look like a legit tag team. And I think that's the problem we're having is like, Aaliyah and Raquel aren't
Aaliyah and Raquel did everything you said. They come out together. They have
they had separate. They had separate.
No, dude, they've been coming out to one. They've been coming out together for like.
They don't look similar. They don't have the same gear.
Oh, you want that? So Nestle, your thing with the tag team is like, I want you to be twins, or I want you to be like FTR. You've been tagging for 20 years.
If you're on a team, you wear similar clothing.
Yeah, like Raquel and Aaliyah started to look like a team. It was like a big sister, little sister thing. They're doing all the moves where Raquel's throwing Aaliyah into people. Come on, who doesn't love someone throwing into some people? That's the
you
thing,
just like to be thrown.
Who doesn't like to be thrown? But it's just one of those things where those things take time. They don't just happen. You can't, there hadn't been a women's tag team division forever. Then there was, and then there wasn't again. So now they're at the point where they're trying to build up new tag teams. Now they're literally doing what you're telling them to do. They're like, okay, Raquel, we're not ready for a singles push. We have Aaliyah, who's like a good sidekick. We'll make them a tag team. They've developed them. And so now like we're getting there, but it's like, they're still in the infancy page, but it's like every week we're getting something a little different. And that's what they're doing with Doudrop and Nikki. They're trying to build something behind the scenes where they've been on the losing streak, but in the background of like promos, you see them fighting. Like, these things don't happen overnight. You don't click a button and be like, oh my God, there's a well-oiled team. No, you have to fucking build them, man. What did you like the bar in Nestlemania?
I did love the bar, but
it
took a while. Yeah, I know.
They had a fucking best of 7 between Sheamus and Cesaro before they build up enough respect, before they came one of the most fun tag teams. Like, they don't happen overnight. And this division just returned like a month ago. So it's going to take a while to build these teams. That's why they have to use like the toxic attractions, because you're right, they don't have enough teams. So they have to build some, because they literally had 0. Zippo, zilch, nada. So it's going to take some time.
So here's the other thing. Here's the other thing too. And I think this is the problem we're going to end up with is that the people that are on the roster now, right? Like, it's already going to be a big roster, but in order to make the women's tag team division even better, they're going to have to bring up some of the NXT tag teams, because the women they have now have
Toxic
been thrown.
Close.
Yeah, but they've been thrown in these like hodgepodge tag teams, the Natties and the Taminas, the Natties and the Sonias. It's just like
Natty and anyone.
Natty and anybody.
Shayna.
Yeah, it's like Natty and exactly.
I mean, Natty's a perfect tag partner because
Shayna
she's
and
so
whoever.
good.
But like,
you can stick anyone with her.
But here's my issue is like they just like you need a clean slate. You can't just try to repackage like some, like you'll get one out of 8.
Honestly though, isn't that what the tournament was though? It was a clean slate. It's like, yeah, they have to make fucking 8 teams, so there's gonna be whatever, but it's like they at least, like, what I thought about was like there was some fresh stuff. Like the minute I saw Raquel and Aaliyah, I'm like, I can buy this because it makes sense and there's a dynamic you can build there. It's not one of those things where like when it's all said and done, we're gonna be like Raquel and Aaliyah, greatest women tag team ever. No, but it's like they're building something where they're taking women that are like so different. But how many times do we see a tag team where you kind of get two opposites and you stick them together and it's magic? Like, look at RK Bro. For different reasons, they're complete opposites, but it just fucking works. So sometimes you just get that magic and sometimes you don't. Like, sometimes you stick Natty and Shayna together and you're like, oh, maybe with a technical they'd be interesting. No, they're fucking boring. So it does, it's just, there's going to be a lot of experimentation. There's a ton of women on this roster, and the best way to utilize them all is, experiment with some as tag teams.
I'm going to blow one of my hopes right now.
Do it.
You ready? So one of my hopes here is that the tag team division and the women's division, the women's tag team division, easy for me to say, isn't very good right now. They're building it, as you said. The one thing I was thinking about while I was watching SmackDown is a very specific promo that really spoke to me. Here's my hope, folks. We need to keep Ronda Rousey away from winning the women's championship for a while.
I'm afraid I got some bad news.
I know. But here's the thing, folks. Instead of that happening, here's what we do. We make Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey a tag team. I would love to see, because I think there's best friends. They break bones. They'll start just beating up bitches. It'll be great. And Sonya Deville will try to get in there and they'll beat the shit out of her too. I'm not an MMA girl, whatever. But here's what I love about this. Ronda Rousey will still be busy beating everybody in that tag division. I'm sorry, I keep saying Sonya. Shayna and Ronda together are best friends. There's that MMA background. They'll just beat people up. But the best part about this is you keep Ronda away from the title. You make Shayna by adjacently sitting next to Ronda. They'll get some of her gusto back. She'll be the submission. She's so dragged through the mud for the last couple of years. Like when she won that fucking, that title shot at Becky, we're like, this is great. And then everything after that subsequently was just trash, except for the Nia Jax thing I really enjoyed. But
they were a good tag team.
They were a good tag team. But the issue is like Ronda and Shayna together needs to be a tag team because it needs to happen. Because look, we have so much. Here's the thing. Ronda Rousey doesn't need that championship to be a badass. She's going to get it at WrestleMania or in a match against WrestleMania, some big fucking thing we know. But I think having Shayna Baszler with Ronda Rousey in those tag titles, then they're prominent. Then they're everywhere. Then you can build a division on people who can catch you. I know we're not going to get there, but that promo where she says, when you want to break some skulls, let me know. And I heard that and I thought, probably not going to happen anytime soon, but that is a dominant tag team that I would invest in. Those need to look like a tag team, though. They need to actually dress similar. They need to do they need to do things the same as team would do. But I'm excited for that opportunity. I think that having Shayna and Ronda together as a team would be phenomenal for everybody.
I think down the line, I mean, it's always something that made sense because we know there's a relationship there, but I don't think it's anytime soon. Like Ronda's going to get that SmackDown title back at some point because at WrestleMania, it's probably going to be her and Becky for that title. I don't know. Maybe it happens at Extreme Rules or maybe it happens even more down the line. But I mean, Ronda has surprised me. She has worked pretty much, full time. She misses a week here and there, but I was expecting her to maybe like take a little more time off after she got screwed and then come back with a vengeance. So I am curious to see what happens because she is pretty much committed to the full-time schedule. But yeah, Nestle, she did win that fatal 5-way elimination match where she just took out pretty much everyone. And I don't know. It felt, I thought they might like surprise us and maybe give us someone else for a short term, but I don't know. Like I've really dug the way that Triple H, ever since he has taken over, booked Ronda Rousey, because we've been saying for years, it's like Vince doesn't know how to fucking book this woman. He doesn't know how to make her cool. And it's so fucking simple. And literally the second Triple H took over, it's just like, oh, you have her fucking go against authority. Boom. Oh my God, that was so hard. Vince of all people should know that because he was the fucking authority against Stone Cold. Like, it's just one of those things. It's like Ronda is that type of character where she is. She's anti-authoritative. Look at her. She's fucking resting Ronda face. Like, it's just like, that's what she is. So it just, but I am curious to see how they do her and Liv part 2.
Sure.
3.
All right, you want to move on? We don't move on?
I guess.
Oh, we forgot to say Omos beat up 2 jobbers. That's the thing. Omos is back. There could be a comeback right there, but it's not. It is what it is. Omos is going to be beating up jobbers all the time because there's nothing else they can do to him. Anyway, let's get hopeful. Let's get excitable. Let's get happy. Would you like to start or would you like me to go?
Sure, because mine's quick. AEW this week on Dynamite, we have 2 semifinals. We have Jericho and Danielson, again, part 2. I'm going to fall asleep, but obviously Danielson should and will win. And the other one's Moxley versus Sammy Guevara, who pulled the upset on Darby Allin. You know what? I mean, Moxley's going to beat Danielson most likely in the finals of this tournament because they've already teased the Moxley MJF. It's pretty much AEW versus MJF. Like Moxley's the face of AEW. It makes a lot of sense. But you know what I would love? I would love a fucking curveball and have fucking Sammy Guevara beat John Moxley 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the ring and go on to face Danielson for the AEW World Championship. Because 1, it would be something fresh and new we haven't seen. 2, it would be a payoff of the Danielson Guevara vlog feud, which we've never gotten. And 3, the internet will fucking cry because they hate Sammy fucking Guevara because he's a fucking asshole. But you know what's great about assholes, Nestlemania? They get so much fucking heat. And I mean, everything Sammy does, he gets heat. He's incredibly talented. He's just a fucking moron. But you know what? Fuck it. I hope Sammy Guevara beats John Moxley on Wednesday. Hashtag JC knows. Hashtag JC hopes come true. This might be my least liked hope of all time, but I'm okay with it.
Hey, you know what? If it makes you uncomfortable, if it makes you feel something, then it's got to be money, right? So,
people will feel something if he beats Moxley.
Oh, I know.
Oh, the internet would burn.
How much do you think Tony Khan hates himself for signing CM Punk up? Like at this point, it's like
I don't think he does at all because he's like they've made more money with the CM Punk pay-per-views in Chicago crowd. Do you know why they go to Chicago for every pay-per-view? Because they make the most money because it sells out instantly because of CM Punk. Right. Like that's why Tony Khan, I think, has put up with his shit because he knows he's a fucking money-making draw. And honestly, that's on you fans. If you don't want him to be his thing, just stop fucking supporting him and support like other people more. But it's just like, that's what it is. It's like Tony Khan's not a moron. He's a businessman. I mean, he's a moron, but he's a businessman. His dad's a very, very good businessman. So he's learned something from him. CM Punk equals dollars and cents. And that's pretty much what that douchebag has said. And that's why we've all kind of got sick of him because he knows it too. Punk's not an idiot. I walked by Mindy's Bakery, by the way, when I was in Chicago. There's a kid in there.
We didn't get in.
There was a kid in there with a CM Punk shirt inside, and I laughed.
But she didn't go in and eat a
It was,
cupcake.
it was the middle of the day. I wasn't going in.
Anytime's cupcake time. Excuse me.
Any day's cuck day. In Roman Reigns world,
any day is cuck day. Any day is cuck day. Any day is cupcake day. Excuse me. You can put that on a t-shirt too. But look, my hope very quickly. I thought about this the other day. I was watching Monday Night Raw, and all I could think about, JC, was I'm kind of digging all the things they're doing with Judgment Day, but the one thing I'm really gravitating towards too, and I want them to lean into very hard, is Poppy. I think, given the right circumstance here, I want them to lean into Rhea Ripley saying she's Poppy, that this is her version of Becky Lynch's The Man. I think this could potentially be, with the right storyline, with the right things they do with her, and she's fantastic. This could be her breakout moment, her breakout character. I want to see them invest in it. I want to see Poppy t-shirts. I want to see everything about this, and she will be a household name if they do the Poppy thing correctly. I think having her beat Bianca's number one, having her become a star number two, obviously, if she beats like, a Charlotte or a Becky or a Ronda somewhere down the line. But I think that if they do it correctly, they have a megastar on our hands here. But again, if you're going to lean into it, you got to lean into it hard with the Poppy. You're really like, she's Big Poppy. You know what I mean? Like, she's got to call the shots. And I want to see this go like to an uncomfortable place. You know what I mean? That's what I want, because it's cash. That's my hope, because she could be the next big thing with Poppy. At least I believe that. When I was thinking about the other day, that's the way I would book it. I'm in. I'm all in on it.
Rhea's a stud.
But you don't like the idea of her being Poppy?
No, I think it's great. I think it's working perfect with this Dom thing. It's great. She's going to be, no matter what she does, she's going to be incredibly successful. I think she's already a star in the wrestling world, but I agree. Like, something like that could bring her to the next level of like,
it's a superstardom thing. It's her character. It's a final character that could be a final form for her. And it's going to be fascinating to see what they do with her. I hope they don't fuck it up. There it is. All right. Anyway, you want to give somebody your comeback?
Don't call it a comeback. She's been here for years. I'm giving my comeback to Lacey Evans, who we haven't seen in a few weeks. She was kind of doing her thing, and then the Vince Triple H thing happened, and I think they're just trying to figure it out. She was in the Fatal 5-Way. Straight hair, I care. I always pop for that. But Lacey, I love Lacey. I think she's a stud. I think she's an absolute heat magnet. So I'm glad that she's at least back on TV. I would like them to find something for her to do soon, because I just think she's really good. And so she's going to get my comeback, because I think we're on the stages of that happening. So
she could do a lot with Liv. I think that's why
I thought she might actually win by doing a Fatal 5-Way. I'm like, you could do a 1-month program with Lacey and Liv. She could help like really legitimize Liv and then feed her to Ronda, but we'll see.
It's Extreme Rules. That means anything could happen, and Liv could beat Ronda with something. I don't know. My comeback this week goes to the Death Triangle. They are their new Trios Tag Team Champions. That's right. I'm giving a 6-man tag champions my comeback, because thank God a real Trios Tag Team has those things now. They beat the Best Friends.
The Elite isn't a real Trios Tag Team.
I mean, they're not really a team right now. They're
just suspended.
They're suspended, yeah. So they're the only real tag team, or the 6-man tag team. I can't believe I enjoyed that match. I can't believe I watched it. But more importantly,
you not enjoy it? It had Orange Cassidy and Penta and Phoenix.
And now Tupac. I literally told Joe the fucking layup in his article of Tupac, and he wouldn't do it. Tupac. Come on, man. It's Tupac.
I literally shit on this guy, and he gets 2 championships. So good for him.
I am so excited to see where this goes, because anytime Penta and Ray Phoenix are on my TV, I watch. I fucking love those guys. And then of course Pac is just Pac. Like he's just one of one. He's so good. He's so good at just doing that whole, like, he sells better than anybody too. So those 3 guys, fantastic. I'll always have a soft spot for them, but that's my AW comeback. Let's go into the big old finish. There's a lot to talk about. I assume, JC, you're going to hit us with some voting.
Yeah, there is on NXT. They already announced that my favorite type of match, steel cage match for the tag team titles tonight between Pretty Deadly and the Creed brothers. Since it's a steel cage, I'm assuming Deadly will retain.
I cannot wait for Pretty Deadly to win, and then just something weird's gonna happen here, because this isn't Roddy out from a sneak attack, and then Kemp hit him from behind.
Yeah,
so
so
something's gonna weird happen
Damon
here.
Kemp's gonna get involved. Your girl Lash is gonna get involved because she's their valet. So all that, but we also do have a couple other things. Nestlemania, you mentioned the voting. Mello will defend his North American title. We talked about this earlier. It'll either be the Von Wagon, Joe Gacy, or Wesley. So it's gonna be Wesley, but either way, that match is gonna be super hot fire. Mello will win.
Let's go, Wagon.
Your
Let's
girl
go,
Lash
Wagon.
is also in action as Lash Legend takes on Fallon Henley. So that means we'll get.
Well,
to see
look,
the
I like
fucking
Fallon
country boy.
Henley. We like that. But the other
Yeah,
thing
I
is
know
Lash
what you like
Legend-
about Fallon Henley.
You know, I mean,
That's
I don't-
the caboose.
I mean,
Choo
you know,
choo.
I'm on the caboose. You know, it is what it is, folks. But you know, Lash is not for me. So you know, I need some more. I get the valet thing. Pretty Deadly doesn't need her personally, but you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, it works. And then speaking of caboose, we have a women's tag team match between the returning tag team that never happened of Nikita, Lyons, and Zoe Stark taking on Ariana Grace and Kiana James.
Don't care about that match at all.
I care because I think Grace and James are two young prospects I want to see more of. And Lyons and Stark were supposed to be a tag team. Let's see if they're actually a tag team or if it's just, you know, a way to make Zoe Stark more interesting by putting her with Nikita. Sorry, Guthrie.
Guthrie just loves him some Zoe Stark, doesn't he?
Then we also have a mystery tag team match where the D'Angelo family will be taking on Cameron Grimes and a partner of his choosing.
Do you think it's Joe Gacy?
It's weird because Joe Gacy's on the poll for the North American.
Yeah, but they can do that later on.
Well,
They
no,
can-
I
they
know.
can
And
start the show with Mello.
I'm assuming that's going to kick off the show, and I don't think that it's going to be Joe Gacy who wins that. But I don't know. I have a feeling it's going to be somebody different.
Like Ricochet, perhaps? Our boy
No.
Domi, who did a preview. This is
It'll
a
probably be
one-year preview,
Apollo
brother.
Crews, honestly.
Ugh. That does nothing for me. By the way, go to jobbernknocker.com as our boy, Domi Feds, the man that does everything for NXT, said there was a one-year preview. I think it's the one-year anniversary of 2.0. So it's a big deal, folks. He does a lot of great coverage there. Great follow on Twitter as well. And you should enjoy that.
I also haven't finished the card. There is one more match. You ready for this?
Yeah, hit me with it.
Hank Walker versus Javier Bernal.
I think Dom said it best in his article. Who the fuck?
Like, that Javi guy's popped up on main NXT a couple times. He got in a fight with a bouncer last week, which happened to be this Hank Walker guy. I know nothing about either of these guys except for that Javi guy seems annoying, which means I'll probably down the line like him. But yeah, that's a match.
Any guy named Hank seems like somebody you don't want to mess with. I don't know.
He's a big boy.
He's a big boy.
Oh,
He's a big boy.
Yeah. On Raw next week, we have the U.S. title, Lashley and Rollins, like we talked about. We also have KO versus Theory. I don't know anything on SmackDown, which maybe they didn't announce it, or maybe I just don't know. But Nestlemania on AEW, we have the two semifinals, like we talked about. Jericho Danielson, Moxley Guevara. Who you got?
I want to see what you said in your hope happen, but I know that my head says that it's Daniel Bryan versus John Moxley.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be that.
That has to be it at this point. If it's Sammy Guevara versus Moxley, I think at least everybody's assholes will tighten up just a smidge.
Yeah,
Just a smidge.
I think it just that's where it is. But we all know it's going to be they're jerking off the BCC real hard. So
I'm fatigued by it, honestly.
I'm fatigued by William Regal. Get him off my TV. Get him off my TV. Get off TV. Like, just go fuck Excalibur in the back and stay off my screen. You fucking annoying old man. I'm
You
sick of it.
miserable little.
He's
toe
honestly
rag.
he's made all those guys less interesting. She's like, keep him away from, I don't know. It's just sorry. I love Regal, but it's just like it's too much. They're sucking his cock too much. And then I just deleted the other match. Sheeta and
Jesus.
Storm. It's instead of Thunderstorm, it's now Sheeta Storm versus your girl Serena Deeb and Dr. Britt Baker DMD.
So Jamie Hayter is gonna do something else.
Yeah, she'll probably cost Britt. I mean, we haven't seen Deeb on TV for like 4 months, but they put her on Rampage and she beat what's her name, and now they're like, oh, Serena Deeb, because they're probably gonna have her make Tony Storm look good at some point. So.
Anytime you said Sheeta Storm, it made me think shitstorm. So
That's what I was going for.
Yeah, shitstorm. Yeah. It makes me,
I love
Sheeta.
Sheeta.
Tag team. Sheeta's great by herself. The other one's
Love Sheeta.
okay. I don't know. I think Sheeta's a bigger star than
Sheeta. I want to see Sheeta in WWE someday because I think I want to see her against all the top women. And then on Rampage, Nestlemania, we have a Ring of Honor TV title. Samoa Joe has returned to work and he is defending against Josh Woods, who is with your boy Tony Nese and Smart Mark Sterling.
Waste of time. Wake me up when it's over.
That's how I always feel about Samoa Joe matches.
He puts me to sleep and my couch is comfy.
Yeah. I think that's all they have booked unless they've added stuff. And, the Cocaine Cowboy will put out some more.
Yeehaw. I just think there's too much going on. It's just not a second to simmer. It is just like boom, boom. We're on to
That's
something
what
else.
competition does, baby. It keeps it fresh.
Whew.
And yeah, you didn't put Berskey's comment up there, but the Ariana Grace fan club, like that's the real thing.
I don't know what he was
Santino-
laughing his ass off about. By the
Santina's
way.
daughter, or Santina. Oh, it could be Santina's daughter. I don't know. Santina's daughter.
Santina.
Yeah, I think she's Guthrie's favorite too. So 2 Guthrie shutouts. It's too much.
I think you had 3 actually. But
No,
that's
I'm about
okay.
to give him a 3rd because fucking he's right about Veer. Guy sucks. Can't even make it on TV. So
Oh my God, you've turned on Veer?
here's the thing. The reson why Veer was so interesting to me was because of how much Guthrie hated him.
But now
It was
that he's not
like
on
Joe
TV,
and Shimmy. Yeah. Joe put over Humberto for me. I wouldn't fucking care about the guy if it wasn't for Joe writing Shimmy, yeah in his 205 Live articles. That's how Veer was for me. I get to go on Twitter and see Guthrie bitch and complain. So I'm like, cheer for Veer. But now that he's gone, I certainly haven't missed him.
man.
I buried it at the end. Maybe Guthrie's turned it off.
No, Guthrie. When he hears his name, it's like his ears perk up. He's gonna.
You
put
know
us
what?
in his
I like
next
to shit
movie.
on Guthrie because he agrees with you too much. But this week I've given him props.
So they laughing my ass off when he went off on Regal. Oh, okay. All
Am I
right.
wrong? Am I wrong? Does
Well-
William Regal in AEW not fucking suck? And he literally, all he wants to do is stick his fucking British cock into the fucking asshole of Excalibur and make him go, Eureka! Like, what the fuck, man? Stop it. Like, it's just so annoying. God. Like, John Moxley doesn't need a manager. Bryan Danielson doesn't need a manager. He can fucking follow
Cesaro
around
needs
Wheeler.
one. Cesaro needs
Well, yeah,
one.
no shit. Then he can do fucking Cesaro and Wheeler Yuta on Ring of Honor and get them off my fucking TV once you get the Ring of Honor show. Christ.
There is
Come
no
on.
Ring of Honor show, folks. There's no Ring of Honor
There
show.
will
I can
be
almost
eventually.
guarantee. No, it'll be somewhere nobody sees it. Nope, not going to happen. But here's the thing,
Well,
folks.
Nestle just cursed it into being a thing. Congrats, Tony Khan.
Yeah, well, great. I'm glad it'll be on fucking Discovery Plus or whatever the fuck nobody has. I mean, whatever the fuck it's called. Whatever the fuck. It's like HBO Max is tanking on purpose. So Discovery Plus
I mean,
is going to.
HBO Max is like the thing I watch the most. So.
No, I know, but I was told that apparently because of the merger, they're taking stuff away from
yeah,
HBO Max.
I mean, they've canceled like everything DC. So.
Oh my God, that would hurt
Except
my
for
feelings.
Harley Quinn, which is the best show. You should watch it. I love that.
I've seen
fucking
a
show.
little bit of that show.
Oh,
It's pretty good.
God. The Harley Quinn animated series. Even if you're like someone who it's hard to get into animated things, which I can be sometimes, but this show is my favorite show on TV. It is so fucking funny. So
Okay.
funny. Especially if you like parodies of characters, because that's pretty much all it is. It's just and Harley is just a delight. So
All right. Well, anything else wrestling related? Or let's wrap this bitch.
let's wrap it up. Like William Regal, I'm gonna go out back. No, I gotta work.
Okay. On that note, thank you for listening to the Jobber Knocker. We'll be back next week with more Jobber Knockery.
Roar!